This is the right way to get ripped for the first time. Because when I first started trying to get ripped, I made this huge mistake that completely stalled my progress. Eventually, I figured it out, and I'm at the point now where I have a lean, muscular physique. But if I were to go back in time and get ripped for the very first time, this is what I would do instead. So I started out as skinny fat. I had low muscle mass and high fat levels. And I was so unhappy with that I decided to start training in the gym and also try to lose fat by cutting. And I did make progress initially. I lost over 10 kilos of weight. And at the same time, I built muscle, and my physique was overall a lot better. I'd received a lot of compliments on how I'd changed my physique. And that positive reinforcement that I got made me continue those same habits that I had adopted to lose weight. And it got to the point where I was down to a body weight of 61 kilograms. I had started out at 75. So by this stage, I was starving myself. My basal metabolic rate, or my maintenance calories levels, had dropped so low by that time because I had restricted my calorie intake by so much. And because I just had that positive reinforcement from all the weight that I'd lost, I tried to continue and continue that. But as I tried to drop my calories even lower and lower to try and continue to lose weight, it meant that my progress in the gym in terms of muscle gain and strength gain completely plateaued. I was stuck on 60 kilograms on bench press for the longest time. And my efforts in how I was eating didn't even have any effect on my fat levels because that stayed the same as well. I was starving myself, eating probably 1,500 to 2,000 calories every day, and I wasn't even losing weight because my basal metabolic rate had just dropped so low. So I had seen no progress in the gym for a very long time. And that meant that I just stopped going to the gym because I would go to the gym, not get any stronger. So I just thought, what's the point? And I stopped and gave up for pretty much a year. I would go every now and again, but it was not consistent at all. So what I want you to take away from my story is that it's fine to begin cutting and losing weight if you are overweight, as I was. But it might get to the point where you've restricted your calorie intake by so much that it's having effects in your progress in terms of muscle gain and strength gain, which is obviously counterintuitive to getting ripped. So if you are overweight and you're cutting, and perhaps you've gotten to a point where your fat loss and muscle gain has begun to plateau, you need to be cognizant of the signs that a calorie deficit and restricting your calorie intake severely is not in your best interests. Those signs that you should be looking out for are not gaining any strength in the gym. You've stopped losing weight every time you weigh yourself. You kind of feel like garbage. When you're noticing things like that for weeks on end, that's when you should really start to consider bumping up your calories again. And it doesn't have to be by a whole lot either. What I strongly recommend is entering a lean bulk where you're only over your maintenance calories by 200 to 300 calories. You should especially be doing a lean bulk after such an aggressive cutting phase as well, because your maintenance calories has dropped so low that if you're going to go back to the way you normally ate when you were overweight, you are going to put on so much fat because you're going to be in 800 to 1,000 calorie surpluses because your basal metabolic rate is so low. So you should instead opt to slowly increase your calories over time so that it is more muscle gain that you're getting rather than fat gain. And that extra energy that you're now getting in through increasing your calorie intake is going to be just all you needed to be able to restart the process of building muscle and getting stronger in the gym. And that's kind of a very good thing because it reinforces those positive habits like training very hard because you're actually seeing a result from the effort you're putting in compared to when you were starving yourself and training and not getting stronger. And I know it is so mentally difficult to increase your calories again, especially after coming from a place where you've been overweight, because you're scared that you'll put on all the fat that you worked so hard to lose back on again. That was the case for me. And it's why I stayed in this restricted calorie intake state for such a long period of time. But you have to just recognize that that scenario is not good for your overall long-term progress in terms of really getting the physique that you always wanted. Please just take comfort in the fact that you will not get fat again. You're probably at a point where you're already quite lean if you're at this stage of low maintenance calories and plateaued fat loss. Also, you've probably built some muscle as well, which means your physique is not going to look as bad as it did before you started training. And you'll be only increasing your calories by 200 to 300 over your maintenance. So it's not like you're going to be putting on a heap of weight straight away. And most of that weight gain should hopefully be through muscle. So now, after you've gone through this lean bulking period, you might have put on some extra weight, and hopefully most of that weight is through muscle. So just by that alone, you're probably going to look better because you've got more muscle on your frame. Now, while that might come with some fat gain as well, the next time that you want to cut down, maybe it's summer and you want to be lean for the beach, because you've got all this extra muscle on you, you've increased your maintenance calories because just by virtue of having more muscle on your frame, you're burning more calories at rest. So the next time you enter a cutting phase, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to lose that fat because you're burning more energy at rest. So you'll end up at this stage where you're very lean, but you've also got the muscle to go with it. And that's what you wanted all along. It's exactly what happened to me. I was able to get leaner than I was initially, and I was able to do it with a lot more muscle. So hopefully that helps. If you learned anything from this, please consider subscribing. We're getting to 5K subs soon. And I will see you in the next one.